Do you ever feel like you're showing love, but your spouse isn't receiving it? Today, we're going to talk about how understanding your spouse's love language can strengthen your marriage and bring you closer together utilizing biblical principles. Yes, biblical principles is what changed the game for me, and it can do the same for you. So, stick around so that you can learn about what the love languages are, what they mean, how you can start implementing, and the whole 9 yards. So stay till the end because I can guarantee your whole marriage is going to change. So the concept of the 5 love languages, made popular by Dr. Gary Chapman, teaches us that each person gives and receives love in different ways. The 5 love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. In Ephesians 5:25, husbands are told to love their wives as Christ loves the church. And one of the best ways we can love one another is by understanding how our partners receive love. So let's get into it. The first love language, words of affirmation, is all about expressing love through words. So that means compliments, encouragement, verbal appreciation. Think about Proverbs 16, verse 34, which says, "Gracious words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bones." So for words of affirmation, I would leave little notes around the house, just telling them how much you appreciate them. You could even send them little random text messages. "Baby, I love and appreciate you so much." Those little things can go a long way. For me, I'm not big on words of affirmation. I'm not big on giving them, and I'm not big on receiving them. I'm the type of actions speak louder than words. But still, especially I know for my husband, he likes to hear them. He likes to hear that I appreciate him, that I love him, that I appreciate his efforts, that I appreciate all that he does. It's just something I think in men they want to know, they want to hear how you feel about the efforts that they're making, especially if they're doing a good job. I think they deserve it. So love language number 2, acts of service. For some, like me, actions speak louder than words. So doing things that serve your spouse will go a long way. So doing things like cooking dinner if they always cook, or cleaning up if they're always cleaning. Just doing any kind of act that will not only lessen their load, but just show how much you're thinking about them, how much you care, how much you're paying attention. Most women, like myself, we like to see that our husbands care and they're paying attention to what we're doing, what's burdensome, when we're tired, when we could use a break. So for this one, consider Galatians 5:13. It says, "Through love, serve one another." So for acts of service, ask your spouse today. This is your homework. Ask your spouse, "What is something I could do today that would lighten your load?" And then do that thing. Too easy, right? Not too hard. So love language number 3 is receiving gifts. And I know for a lot of women, this one is top of our list, right? We love receiving gifts. Some people feel loved when they receive a thoughtful gift. And a lot of times it's not even about the materialistic part of the gift. It's not about how much it costs. It's just about the thoughtfulness behind the gift. Is it something that you've heard me mention? Is it something that you see me admire and you just picked up on it? So just be thoughtful. This does require paying attention and listening. So for you men, you need to start paying attention, all right? All right, moving on to love language number 4, quality time. This love language is all about giving your spouse your undivided attention. And I know in this day and age with technology and social media and everything, we are so distracted, especially if we have to work so hard. When we come home from work, we tend to want to unwind and to just get lost in the internet. But quality time with your spouse can make a big difference, especially if that's their love language. So it's not just about being together, because a lot of time we spend the time together but we're just so distracted. We're both on our devices. So when you're trying to adopt a quality time love language, or you're trying to implement that, make sure you're giving your undivided attention. It's about spending quality time together, being fully present, not just being together in the same location or in the same room. So for this one, I want us to look at Ecclesiastes 4:9-10, and it tells us two are better than one. If either one of them falls down, one can help the other up. So for this one, your homework is to schedule some time this week, maybe even today, to spend some time together with your spouse with no distractions. I know it's gonna, especially if you're not in a good place, it's gonna be a little bit hard or challenging, but you can do it. It's a good place to start to rebuilding that connection, getting the conversation going. No distractions. If you can get away from the kids, all the better. All right, so finally we have physical touch, which is love language number 5. This, I can tell you, is probably every man's favorite love language or top love language. I know it's my husband's. He likes to touch and hug, just to feel close, just to feel wanted and to feel needed. So for some people, physical touch, whether it's just holding hands or a hug, and communicate love deeply. So here I want you to read 1 Corinthians 7 verse 3, and it said, the husband should give his wife her conjugal rights, and likewise the wife to her husband. So I know, it's kind of cringe to talk about the S word, but especially for men, and a lot of us women, not me, but a lot of us need to feel close. We need that connection, the physical connection. It really, really has the opportunity to bring us so much closer, to feel connected. But it cannot just be the physical of it. There has to be the emotional. We have to kind of want to do it. Sometimes we don't feel like it. We're not in the mood. We're tired. But just that desire to satisfy your spouse, that desire to fulfill that need that they may have, may bring you closer. Just that selfless act of doing something for your spouse that you know they need even though you don't want it. Kissing does that for me. It brings me emotionally closer to my husband. And sometimes I'm just not, especially having kids. I don't know what's going on with my hormones. It's all over the place, but it's just making me so disconnected. So it takes a lot of effort to just want it, to just want to feel connected, to just want to have that emotional togetherness, that physical togetherness that will eventually build up and help us to grow emotionally. So since we now know what the 5 love languages are, how do you find out what your spouse's love languages are or is? Because it may just be one, it may be all of them, it may be a few. What I would suggest is start doing all 5 on a regular basis, as often as you can. So your homework is to do all the things that we mentioned for each. So every day, words of affirmation, simply looking for something good and saying it, a word of encouragement, even praying together. Those are words of affirmation in your prayer, talking about how much you love and appreciate your wife during prayer, thanking God for your wife, thanking God for all that she does. She's hearing, so that helps. And it kills 2 birds with 1 stone, because that's building you spiritually and including God. With everything that we're saying, if God isn't in the midst, forget about it. So what I want you to do is every day do one thing that attributes to each love language, and then just pay attention to how your spouse reacts to each thing. That's gonna tell you, oh, she liked the words of affirmation more than she loved receiving the gifts, or she liked this type of gift more than she liked that type of gift. So you're paying attention and you're deliberately, intentionally doing things so you can learn about your spouse, and intentionally doing more of the things that they like. They're gonna be so appreciative. The love is gonna grow. You're gonna bond. So now that you know the 5 love languages, take some time to figure out which one speaks most to your spouse. Ask them directly or observe how they tend to show love to you. That one is very telling, okay? Usually we love and treat others the way we want to be treated. So once you know their love language, start intentionally speaking it. Even small changes can lead to bigger, deeper connection. Remember that 1 Corinthians 13 teaches us that love is patient and kind. So learning your partner's love language is one way you can practice this daily in your marriage. So as you learn and adapt to your spouse's love language, you're not just building a healthier marriage, you're reflecting the love of Christ, who meets us where we are and loves us uniquely. What's your love language? Do you know? If you know, leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys. And check out this other video that talks about love and respect and how every spouse receives them differently. I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.